seconds to go. Puts it up and scores at the buzzer. Alabama is out on the field. That's another knockdown.
You're not getting up, Jim.
Get up. You believe in miracles? Yes.
The All Things Sport Podcast with your hosts, Damian Banks and Pierre Banks on Spreaker Radio.
What's happening? What's up? What's going on? It's the All Things Sport Podcast, and I am your host, Damian Banks, broadcasting live from beautiful Banks Boy Studios in Durham, North Carolina. It is ATS, as I affectionately call it, the All Things Sport Podcast, where I give you, our listener, all things sport. Ladies and gents, it is now 2017. Welcome to the new year. When is it too late to say Happy New Year? Well, this is the first show of 2017, so let me be the first to say Happy New Year to the All Things Sport listeners. Again, I am your host, Damian Banks, and today's show is jam-packed. And with it being the first episode of the new year, I just want to wish everyone, man, a prosperous and a healthy, happy new year. We all make our New Year's resolutions. I hope that you guys can stick to those resolutions. Personally, I don't make any resolutions. I try to be a great person every day. My thing is, don't tell me what your resolution is. Show me. Let me be, excited for you. Let me look at you and say, hey, man, did you lose some weight? That's what's up, man. That must have been one of your resolutions. Hey, I noticed you're not drinking as much anymore. I noticed you're not eating as much anymore. I noticed that you're being a better person. That must have been one of your New Year's resolutions, right? Yeah, so let me be the first to congratulate everyone on making it to 2017, man, because 2016 was a pretty rough year, man, for planet Earth. I'm not going to get into all the details. We lost a lot of people in 2016 and, the presidential election. I'm not going to get into that either, but that was pretty messed up for 2016. But this is a new year, and people say new year, new me. I'm going to say new year, new money, man, because I'm trying to get to it. Give me my money. But again, man, this is the All Things Sport Podcast, and this is the first podcast of the new year, man. A lot of things have happened since the last time I recorded on the All Things Sport Podcast. Going to the world of mixed martial arts, man. Ronda Rousey made her return to the octagon, and she was dismissed by Amanda Nunes in 48 seconds. Ronda, I love you. One of the best female MMA fighters, one of the best MMA fighters, period, of all time. But your last two fights didn't go well, Ronda. They didn't go well. I don't know if you're Hollywood now. I don't know if you're not focused on fighting, but my advice to you, I wouldn't say give up. I wouldn't say retire. I would say do some reflection, get back into that mindset where you want to be a champion. Spend a lot less time in Hollywood, a lot more time in the gym, come back and reclaim your position atop the world of mixed martial arts, man. Because Ronda Rousey, the way that Amanda Nunes did you, I would thought that you stole her boyfriend. I would thought that you slept with her husband, because she did you dirty. She knocked you silly. You didn't block any of her punches. You ate everything. You went into the ring hungry, not hungry to win. You went into the ring hungry to eat her punches. And Amanda Nunes served up knuckle sandwich after knuckle sandwich on you, Ronda. So Ronda, get your life together. Go back to the drawing board, and maybe one day in the near future you will be a champion in MMA again. Another thing that happened since the last podcast, I hadn't did a podcast since before Christmas. The Christmas Day, much anticipated NBA matchup between the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Golden State Warriors. Really good game if you want to go back and recap that game. Really good game between the Cavs and the Warriors. The Warriors had a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter. And much like Game 7 of the NBA Finals last season, the Warriors choked that lead away. LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love brought the Cavaliers back. Kyrie hit another big shot on the Warriors, much like Game 7 of that NBA Finals. And the Warriors had a chance to win it, but Kevin Durant, I'm using air quotations, was tripped by Richard Jefferson on the game's last play. Cavaliers have now won 4 straight games against the Golden State Warriors. I think that the Cleveland Cavaliers are in the Warriors' head. If you ask me, I think they're in their head. I mean, Golden State had a tremendous season last year, broke the NBA record previously set by the Chicago Bulls for most regular season wins. They were plowing through the competition in the playoffs, had a pretty substantial lead on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cleveland was down 3-0, if I'm not mistaken, or was it 3-1 in the NBA Finals, and Golden State blew that, and Cleveland won the championship. Golden State blew that lead in the Christmas Day game, and Cleveland won that game. I think the Cavaliers are in the Golden State Warriors' heads now, man. And kudos to LeBron and the Cavs, man, for really putting the upstart Warriors in their place. You can't disrespect the king, man, and expect for good things to happen to you. You disrespected LeBron last season. He has proven that he is your daddy. And the Cleveland Cavaliers are just waiting on their, chance to play the Golden State Warriors again in this season's NBA Finals. I think it's a foregone conclusion that either, the Cavaliers and the Warriors are not going to be challenged too much in their respective conferences, the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference. I think that Cleveland is going to have a pretty clear path to the NBA Finals. I think maybe the Toronto Raptors can give them some problems. Not going to be too much of a problem, and they have the best player in the world in LeBron James on their side. So, yeah. I think the Cleveland Cavaliers are going to be in the NBA Finals again, and I think the Golden State Warriors, barring an injury, are going to be in the NBA Finals again as well. Houston is having a pretty good season, man. James Harden killing it. He's a MVP front runner right now, along with Russell Westbrook and OKC. But Golden State Warriors, too much talent on that Warriors team. You got Steph, KD, Clay, Draymond Green. The Warriors are loaded. They're probably going to be in the NBA Finals again. It's going to be a rematch with the Cleveland Cavaliers, but I think that the Cavs are in the heads of the Warriors, man. So, I'm looking to see the Cavaliers and the Warriors again in this season's NBA Finals. What else is going on in the world of sports, man? Hot topics in the world of sports since we last did the show. It's bowl season for the college football playoffs, and I'm going to get into the championship game later, man. Clemson versus Alabama. Hell of a game. Just finished watching that. But I'm going to get into that later. It was bowl season. I watched damn near every bowl game for the bowl season for college football, man. And I came to the conclusion that the Atlantic Coast Conference is the best conference in college football. The ACC had a tremendous bowl season, finished up the bowl season 9-3, and the ACC had wins by teams out of North Carolina in the bowls too, man. Wake Forest and NC State won their bowl games. Unfortunately, UNC, they lost their bowl game. Now, I said unfortunately, everyone knows that I'm not a UNC fan, but I pull for the state of North Carolina to do well. I want my state, the state that I'm from, to do well. Wake Forest won their bowl game. NC State won their bowl game. Appalachian State won their bowl game. But the UNC Tar Heels could not pull off that feat and make the state of North Carolina undefeated in bowl games. The Tar Heels lost to Stanford in the Sun Bowl. And, I watched that game. UNC, I don't know what you were doing. You messed up, man. We had the opportunity to go undefeated as a state in bowl games. You blew it, UNC. What's wrong with you? Mitch Trubisky, pretty much, I don't know what you were doing, Mitch. Maybe you were looking forward to the NFL draft. You made it known that you're declaring for the draft early. Elijah Hood, you didn't play in that game. You said that you would be coming back to UNC, but you also declared for the draft. I think UNC was distracted, and they lost that game to Stanford in the Sun Bowl, which essentially gave the state of North Carolina their only blemish in bowl games. But all in all, the ACC pretty much owned the bowl season. They went 9-3 overall, culminating with a national championship win for the Clemson Tigers over the Alabama Crimson Tide. The Fighting Dabos, Dabo Sweeney and Clemson. First championship since 1981, man. Congratulations to those guys. I'm going to get into that later on in the All Things Sport podcast. We have a jam-packed show, and I'm so happy to be back. I hope everyone had a great Christmas. Hope everyone had a great New Year's. And I hope everyone continues to support the All Things Sport podcast. You can listen to the podcast on Spreaker.com/Sports by Damien, or you can go to my website, banksboy.com, download this podcast, download all the previous podcasts. You can also look at my blog, also look at Pierre's blog. It's a fantastic website. Again, banksboy.com. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Sports by Damien. Follow my brother Pierre on Instagram and Twitter, _my_humble. Let's get it popping, man. We're going to take this commercial. We'll be right back on the other side with the All Things Sport podcast on Spreaker Radio.
What up, this is Pierre Banks, and when I'm back in Boone watching the Mountaineers, my first stop is always Mountaineer Mania. The good folks at Mountaineer Mania have the widest selection of app gear, so you can cheer on the Mountaineers in style. T-shirts, hats, hoodies, sweatshirts, decals, cornhole sets. I mean, if you need it, they've got it. So head on down to Mountaineer Mania at 497 West King Street in Boone, and tell them I sent you.
What you ain't heard?
Somebody done told you wrong, huh?
It's the All Things Sport podcast with Damian Banks and Pierre Banks.
Latifah, party's right here.
On Spreaker Radio.
Welcome back to the All Things Sport podcast. I am your host, Damian Banks. Again, man, follow your boy on Twitter and Instagram, Sports by Damien. And also go to the website, banksboy.com. Download this podcast. Download all the other sports media material. You need it in your life. You need banksboy.com like you need water. And you know how I feel about water. I don't drink purified drinking water. I prefer natural spring water. My natural spring water of choice today is from Harris Teeter. Now, I chose this Harris Teeter spring water because I am broadcasting live from the beautiful Banks Boy Studios in the great state of North Carolina, so I like to support our local businesses. Now, this Harris Teeter natural spring water is processed and filtered out of a protected spring in Roaring Gap, North Carolina. Now, that's in the mountains, so I love spring water. I'm going to take a swig of it right now. I'm going to get this second segment started. Oh yeah, that hits the spot. But I digress. Now, before the break, I wanted to wish everyone a happy new year. We talked a little bit about what we've missed on the All Things Sport podcast since I've been away. And before we went to break, I talked a little bit about the college football bowl season and the playoffs that just culminated tonight, actually, in Clemson defeating Alabama in the national championship game. But before I get to the national championship game, man, I just want to salute and congratulate the ACC. We run college football, man. Not only is this Tobacco Road where the basketball is A1 steak sauce. We run basketball. Everyone knows this. Duke, Carolina, NC State, Wake Forest. The state of North Carolina has great basketball. But this season in college football, man, the ACC and the state of North Carolina in general, man, we run college football as well. 9-3 record for the ACC in bowl games this bowl season. Wake Forest won their bowl game. NC State won their bowl game. Appalachian State won their bowl game. Winston-Salem State won the CIAA championship in football. Man, the state of North Carolina is doing big things aguan, if I can get into my Jamaican voice. Big things aguan for the state of North Carolina in football, in the college football ranks. And, you know, I just watched the national championship game between Clemson and Alabama. Clemson pulled out that 35-31 win over the Crimson Tide in thrilling fashion. But again, I'm going to get into that later. I digress. Back to the state of North Carolina and their bowl wins, man. Wake Forest won their bowl game. NC State won their bowl game. Appalachian State won their bowl game. UNC, you didn't win your bowl game. Get it together. I can't have that, man. I got to have the state of North Carolina going undefeated in bowls, man. And everyone did their job except for UNC. So next season, Carolina, Get it together, man. Now, you're losing Mitch Trubisky. You're losing, Elijah Hood, your running back. You're losing your quarterback, Mitch Trubisky. They're going pro early. And you're losing, Ryan Switzer, your everything wide receiver. You're going to have to get it together next year. I don't care. I don't want to hear any excuses, Carolina.